what do? You go to another place where there is matope. And that means that the demand there will be piled on the new place where now the new source. So it's the same thing. We could be getting our oil from Kuwait. But what happens when all the countries that are getting oil from Russia are told not to get oil from Russia because of the sanctions? What will happen? They will all run to where we are also getting ours. And what that means to our economy? It means the pressure will pile on the demand from that area. And what happens later?
The prices are likely to go higher.
I'll be talking to you because now those are demand dynamics. So, whereas we don't get our oil from Russia, but because of the pressure piled on other sources, because of the divergence of those who are importing from Russia because of the sanctions, now going to Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. So now we are fighting for the little they have because of the pressure. So now that is the second external factor. Let's look at the third. We have been having drought. In my village, they used to say that there is a person who would always make rain not to come. I don't know whether it's true, but if it does, then that's another thing. But we don't determine when it will rain. So I come from the east. The rice which we always grew is completely dry. It dried last season. It's now starting to rain. We pray that probably it don't go. But as for the last season, we didn't have good harvest because of the drought. Now, those are factors external to our predictions.
Okay. What drives the inflation outlook?
You see, those are the very factors that I've been telling you.
No, now you've talked of the external ones.
Yes.
Now the internal ones.
Internal ones, like I've said, we had drought. But even before we come to drought, let's look at when we had COVID. When COVID came, we were all closed at home. Companies, even here, companies that were in Namambe, they were told either you keep the people there at your factory or they go home until the lockdown is done. So what did the companies have to do? You scale down on the employees because you can't sustain. And even if you sustain the production, unless if you are producing sanitizer, which was on demand that time. But for iron sheets, things to eat, people were at home, were not buying them. The demand went down. So companies had to scale down. And because of that, there was shortage of supply. So the supply, the causes of inflation have been so much on the supply side, supply shocks. Because of COVID, because of the war in Ukraine, because of drought. Now, as for BOU, we normally so much, our actions and decisions are based normally mostly on the demand side.
But you said that Bank of Uganda, your role is to control these price pressures.
Yes.
But to my look,
yes,
it's like you failed, because in the recent monetary statement that you released, you said that inflation is likely to go high.
Yes.
Because we all had that much expectations that
yes,
maybe, at least like, maybe at the end of the year,
yes,
at least we shall be at least.
Yes.
But if you say that they are likely to go high,
yes,
what does it mean to a Ugandan? Moreover, my salary did not increase.
You're absolutely right.
My income
yes,
per se has not increased.
Right.
And now you're saying the inflation is likely to go high. What does it mean?
May I ask you a question? Have you ever fallen sick?
Of course.
Have you ever gone to a doctor?
Yes.
So in the situation we're in, we are doctors of the economy. We don't say that you are not going to fall sick. Our role is to treat you when you get sick. So actually now we are treating the economy. But we cannot say that the economy can never have problems. Ours is provide solutions to the problem. Diagnose and then treat. We diagnosed, and that's why I'm telling you, we found 3.
So you treated by saying that
now
inflation
we are
is
still
likely
treating.
to go high?
We are still treating.
Oh.
Yeah. You see, you can have the disease. It doesn't go in one day. You will have a complication, and they will tell you this is a complication. They will prescribe medicine. So you take it. They will tell you one times one. Some are for a month, some for a year, including even some which require you to change your lifestyle, exercise and the rest. So even as we are doing that, we are having now medicine. We have prescribed. We told you one of the problems is.
Or maybe you're having painkillers.
No, we have experts. In Bank of Uganda, we have doctors in economics. I did economics myself. Do you doubt my capability?
No, I'm not doubting.
Exactly. So we have very able people there. And trust me, it starts from prescription. We have had very good prescription, diagnosis, sorry. Now we are prescribing. And the 9% from 6.5, 8.5, 9, All those are prescriptions, and trust me, in the next 2-3 years, you're going to see the difference is that ours is not for short term. Our prescription, our medicine is, if the efficacy is within 2 to 3 years.
So you want to tell me that Ugandans should have hope?
If again, if the external factors are in check. Because, like I said, the doctor can treat you, but they will not be at home to check what you're eating.
But can we get over external factors as a country?
We can pray, that's number one, but also as countries, they can influence. For example, if there is a war in South Sudan, the presidents can meet and get the war go. Can the president meet the president of Russia? They have their maybe international meetings. The other day I saw the president talking to foreign minister of Russia. He was here. All these are probably things that...
By the way, he denied. He said that the pressure on the price pressures on fuel are not contributed to his country at all.
That was the foreign minister. What would you expect? Yeah. So, but for us, as here, we are telling you, because if you like pizza and we tell you your weight is coming from pizza, you will say because you like pizza. But for us as doctors, we are telling you what we are seeing from our diagnosis. So these are the three. And as Bank of Uganda, I have to assure the public, if the rain now, it's rain. If the rain continues to come well and to go through the cycle, and the situation a little bit normalizes, at least a little bit in Ukraine, Russia, we start producing maize. I mean, Ukraine is like number 2 or 3 in grain production. Russia is like number 2 in oil and oil products. So if these two can talk and then we start the global supply chain come clear, trust me, in the next 1, 2 years, 3 years, we can go back. Of course, remember we are recovering from COVID, so the economy is quite pick up. If it wasn't these external factors, we would be moving at a faster pace.
Okay. From your insight, how do you see the fate of our economy?
Personally, as a Ugandan, but also as a person of the Central Bank, I see a better picture in the next 2-3 years, in the medium term, because I have hope that the situation in Russia will normalize. I heard the other time they were talking, even when they were fighting, there were talks going on. Two, the sanctions, I also want to believe, the sanctions, whereas they are hitting, they might compel some countries to come to the drawing table to talk. But also, it's raining. Actually, I came here, I was rushing, I came on the border rushing that the rain could find on the way. So in my area, I know they are planting, the rice is going to be here, the maize is going to be here, so food won't be a problem. Masaka, Matoko will come, Matoko will come. So the aspect of what was causing the disease to the patient, dryness, drought, then you had the external factors. If these ones are a little bit solved, in 2-3 years, we shall be good. Actually, for us, we project economic growth to be around 6.5 to 7 in the medium term. When these factors are gone, when COVID, because now COVID, you're not having a mask, I'm not having one. We are assuming it's a little bit subsiding. Now we need to focus, and the economy has been on a good trajectory. The only thing now is to avoid these external factors, including exchange rate. Actually, our increase of the CBR to 9% is also to help reduce on the pressures of exchange rate. When we increase the CBR, we are telling people in the foreign countries that, hey, our interest rates here are higher. So bring your money and invest in our treasury bills. Remember, our treasury bills are invested in shillings. So they bring here, what do? Change the dollars into shillings. And that means it reduces the pressure on. That means there will be too much supply of the dollars. And the pressure on currency will go down. What does it mean for you and I who are buyers of things? We import, we buy many things that are imported, including the weave, the perfume, the drinks, and which people are demanding, so including a fuel. So when the exchange rate is lower, because of the too much dollars that are coming here, resulting from our increase in the interest rate, which is the CPR, it means the imported goods will a little bit also be lower in terms of price, because they're also buying them in dollars at a lower dollar rate.
But I thought that the dollar actually is contributing to the depreciation of our currency in Uganda.
Yes, the higher dollar, price in dollar. When the dollar is higher, it leads to higher prices, because our importers who buy from outside to bring and sell us here buy at a higher dollar rise. So definitely even them, they factor in the higher price of dollar here. So that means the dollar also be higher, the price will be higher. So when we increase the interest rate, the dollar comes a little bit down, meaning even them when they buy from wherever they buy from, China and everywhere, they'll bring them at a relatively higher dollar price. That means also their price in Uganda shillings will be lower, and we shall be able to buy at a relief when it comes to domestic prices.
Okay, who regulates foreign currency?
Unfortunately, we don't, which is also good for you. Because imagine if we set a price, a dollar is just any commodity. You go in the market and buy it. So imagine, take the thing that's the dollar, it's just any commodity. Go in the market and you find the market, in the price of tomatoes, every tomato set at 100 shillings by government, because we are government. So that means if it is 100, if I go in my village where I buy tomatoes, come and resell to Nakasero, and the price has gone 200, what would happen? I am not supposed to increase it. I will go back to government and say, the price is 200 where I buy from. So give me the difference so that I can keep it at 100. That means the price, you can't maintain the price unless if the government puts money aside to be cushioning the price increase, which you can't. And don't forget that we are in a free market economy. Once you start restructuring that, we shall be pushing people out of business. But all we need to do...
Sometimes pressure can
You're absolutely right. But like we're saying, if it's temporary pressure, you don't need to affect the economy for a longer time. Because now if it's temporary pressure and we change policies, it's a regular economy, then we can say now Bank of Ghana will be controlling exchange rate. That means we shall be selling currency to you, dollars to you. We can't do that. Already we have forex bureaus. What will be meaning forex bureaus? Push them out of business. Do you know how many people are employed in forex bureaus? Many. Do you know how many people are earning from forex bureaus? Many. So you don't want to go there. You only need to regulate the operations of forex bureaus so that there is fairness when people are dealing with each other. Same thing we do for banks. We don't set interest rates. Some people are saying it's not right. But why don't we do? If we set interest rates, it means you, when you go to borrow, they will not lend you, they will rather lend to government. Why? Because you are risky. But because we let them price the way they want, they will come to you and they say you're risky, they increase the risk premium. The one who is not risky, they reduce.
So totally you cannot intervene as Bank of Uganda?
We do. When it's so total, it's different.
Like
we intervene in situations where the volatility is so pronounced that it's going to affect you and myself when we are trading. For example, if the traders want to go and import and the dollar just wakes up one morning and it is in 6,000, it affects them when they're importing. So when the volatilities are so pronounced, they are so high, unexpectedly, we come in and either buy excess dollars or put in the market the dollar that might be demanded too much.
Okay, when you look at the soaring inflation rate right now, and our target as the East African community is to have a common currency.
Yes.
Do you think that we are ready for it?
Actually, we are even late, in my own view. We are late. Let me tell you, if we move together, first of all, maybe Kenya might be exporting more than we do. Maybe Tanzania exports more than we do. Exchange rate is more determined by how much we export. So if we export more, we get more dollars coming in. That means there'll be more dollar supply within the country. What does that mean? The dollar price will go down. Our shilling will appreciate. You get it? So if we have a common currency in East Africa, first of all, we shall be bringing business together. And that means we can have initiatives together. And that means we shall have a higher volume of export together. And that means better currency. But also it's not a guarantee, I have to tell you the truth. Because let me tell you, look at the Eurozone, European Union, they have the euro. The euro has been doing so well, higher than the dollar. What's happened today? Their balance. Sometimes the factors can be external like we are now. Our currency was performing well in terms of stability, but because of the external factors which hampers the inflow of dollars, you can't control. The same thing now. That's why the euro, as much as we know it's very powerful, the dollar has caught up with the euro because of the global phenomenon, because of global factors, which are external, the European Union, European Eurozone.
All right. After releasing that monetary statement, and you indicated that inflation is likely to go higher, what can your advice to Ugandans out there?
Advice, first of all, our increase, see, we are in a situation when there is inflation, ideally, when there is inflation, it is supposed to be higher economic growth. Because the producers then go and do more production to tap into the higher prices, right? Now, the difference with the situation we have now, which economists like calling stagflation, is that while there is higher inflation, there is no accompanying growth. The growth is actually also almost going down. That's what we call the stagflation. They move in different directions. But in this, so one would ask, then why are you increasing the CBI when people don't have money? The aspect is that we have two problems in the hand. It's like when you have a burning house, but also the child is also dying. You have a burning house you have a child in the house which is also burning, but also maybe you have some money there. Would you first pick money? Would you first pick the child to save their life? I'm sure you first pick the child. So it's something we are in here. We want the growth to go higher, but we first want to arrest inflation, which is now the immediate need. First arrest inflation situation, so that it comes a little bit into control, then you can come up with factors to speed up the economy. So you watch us in the near future when inflation is a little bit, when we can breathe a bit, we are going also to come up with a little bit of policy actions that are going to help the economy to go a little bit grow up. Remember, our new mission has a little bit changed. We used to have only to foster price stability and a sound financial system. Now we have added the aspect of economic transformation, socio-economic transformation. So now we also bring on board policies that will help bring people from where they are upwards. It used to be not a bigger concern to us, but now our new strategic plan has that aspect where we also look at the economic growth together with our control of inflation.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Waiso. It has been nice having you. I hope everyone out there has been able to pick something from what he has explained. My name is Monica Navyonga. It's a good night from this side. Keep it smart, 24 TV.
Monica Navyonga with the Coffee Court tonight, and of course that discussion is one that entirely focuses on finances and Uganda's economy, inflation as well, financial inclusion in general. I'm Joram Paul Sonko with Winnie Buyinza Nakauchi on sign language, and thank you very much for being a wonderful audience tonight with Business Today. We shall surely do it tomorrow, same time. Have a blessed night. Good evening.
There's a difference between contract of services and contract for service. Contract of service is where a person agrees in return for remuneration to work for an employer as per Section 2 of Employment Act. Contract for service is where an employee is an expert and independent contractor, such as a self-employed person or vendor, is engaged for a fee to carry out an assignment or project. Therefore, in contract of service, the employer has role